Solar gurus have been lying to you about wind power, and I've got the data to prove it. I've received plenty of flack from quote unquote solar experts ever since starting this wind turbine project. They call wind turbines toys, they look for power numbers instead of energy production, and they say these devices are noisy, costly, and a huge hassle, but my experience proves them wrong. Here's a question for the haters. If wind turbines suck, then why did my wind turbine generate more energy than my solar panels in 24 hours? If wind turbines really are worthless toys, then they wouldn't generate significant amounts of energy to supplement my batteries when solar power is lacking. But my field data disproves this myth. In just 24 hours, my wind turbine has generated 960 watt-hours of energy. That's the same amount of energy as a 300-watt solar panel mounted flat on a sunny day, or a 425-watt solar panel on a cloudy day. So how did this happen? Did wind turbines magically get better in the last few years, or have the experts been doing it wrong this whole time? In this video, we're going to shed some light on the truth about mobile wind power. So let's first talk about energy versus power, because you can't really compare wind turbines and solar panels without that. Simply stated, energy is power over time. So when you have a certain amount of watts that you're generating, which is your power, you want to multiply that by the number of hours that you're generating those watts for. That will give you watt hours. So if we had a solar panel that was generating 100 watts of power for 4 hours, that would give us 400 watt hours. On the other hand, if we had 50 watts of wind power being generated over 8 hours, that would also give us 400 watt hours. So we can see how, over different lengths of time with different numbers of power, we can get the same amount of energy overall. We also have to factor in efficiency of these devices. I mean, a 400-watt solar panel isn't going to produce 400 watts. It's at most going to generate 70% of that when it's mounted flat on a sunny day. On the other hand, with a wind turbine, power is very inconsistent because the wind is not continuously blowing at one single speed. Because of this, we have to take the average power and use that to estimate the amount of actual watt hours that we're generating. We also have to keep in mind the realities of wind power. It's not windy every single day, and even when it is, it's usually not more than 6 to 10 mile an hour winds. We're not going to generate a whole lot of power in that relative to how much solar generation we'll be getting. The point of wind power is to supplement solar so that when it's stormy, cloudy, or something like that, it's generally windy and we can generate some excess power to supplement our batteries and keep ourselves fully charged throughout the day. So let's take a look at the data that I've collected in the field and see how it stacks up against solar generation. At 0 to 6.5 mile an hour winds, you might see the wind turbine spin a little bit, but it's not going to generate any power. It has to reach something called cut-in speed before it actually can generate power. Between 6.5 and 8 mile an hour winds, the rotor will actually be spinning fast enough that the generator can produce electricity, but it'll only be about 10 watts or so. I should also say that we're assuming we're charging a battery with this setup. If the battery is fully charged and the wind turbine is spinning at 6.5 mile an hour winds, we'll actually generate 5 times more power. And one last thing to keep in mind, just because the wind turbine looks like it's spinning at full speed doesn't mean it's producing that much power. There are again physical limitations that slow down the turbine and keep it from spinning any faster, whether it's producing 1 watt or 400 watts of power. Between 8 to 12 mile an hour winds is where we start getting useful results. We might see 1 to 2 amps of current being generated, or about 25 watts.
Getting 8, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 11, 10, 12, 13. So we're averaging like 10 to 12 miles an hour and we're getting that much current. That's crazy.
From 12 to 15 mile an hour winds, we might start seeing 40 or 50 watts being generated. But the real fun starts between 15 and 20 miles an hour. Check these clips out to see what I mean.
It's so close to me. Holy crap.
This is what storm power actually looks like, and this is the real reason I set up my wind turbine.
This is excellent.
And let's not forget that we're not limited to daytime use. We can run this thing at night too. And beyond 20 miles an hour winds, that's where stuff just gets so crazy I can't even get good measurements. See for yourself what I mean.
Yeah, it's windy today. What are we getting up to? It keeps going.
What I didn't realize is that the wind turbine's mounting structure had come loose, losing power in the wind. This is a big part of why I was only getting 6 amps, despite the 25-mile-an-hour gusts we were seeing.
Not shaking anymore. Not much at least.
I resecured the flagpole with my ratcheting cable tensioners and started seeing better numbers.
I think we're good now.
My wind turbine is supposed to be able to generate 400 watts of power, but so far from all my field data that I've collected, I haven't pushed it beyond 150 watts yet. Part of that is because even though I've gotten to 25 to 30 mile an hour wind speeds, that's only for short periods of gusty winds. Consistently, on average, I have not pushed beyond 20 miles an hour, so we have yet to see what's beyond that point. So now that we've talked about the power numbers, we can start to focus more on the energy that's actually being produced from this wind turbine. For a solar panel, we convert watts to watt hours using something called peak sun hours. This is a constant value that basically you multiply your wattage by based on the region that you're in to get the amount of energy that your solar panel will produce each day. Typically for solar panels in the US, we can use a value of 4.5 peak sun hours to convert wattage to watt hours. We should also consider the angle at which our solar panels are tilted so that we can derate the maximum power rating appropriately. For wind turbines, on the other hand, we can throw all that out the door. Wind turbines aren't limited to 4.5 hours of runtime. As long as that wind is moving, we'll be getting some extra juice for our batteries. Typically here out west, I see 2 to 4 hours of wind every few days, usually below 15 miles an hour. But if there's a weather front coming, I can expect 6 to 24 hours of strong winds in a single day. Even if I just end up getting 40 watts of power from 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, that adds up quickly as the hours go by. In 24 hours of those winds, I generated 960 watt hours of energy. On the other hand, my 350 watts of solar power struggled to keep up. Being mounted flat, I rarely see any more than 70% of their rating. But in the cloud cover we had that day, I should derate to 50%, or 175 watts total. Given 4.5 peak sun hours, that's under 800 watt hours, significantly less than the 960 watt hours of wind power I received that day. And if you don't believe me, here's some raw footage of me losing my marbles after a restless night in that strong wind. 20 hours later, and the wind is still blowing just as hard as it was yesterday. Messed up my hair, and look at what it's doing with wind power. There it is, look at that. Still 2 to 3 amps. Still gusting to 4 and so on. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, this is for 20 hours. 40 watts for 20 hours. What is that? That would be 800 watt hours. That's absolutely insane. 800 watt hours from a single day of wind. The big takeaway from this is that wind turbines really can produce more energy than a solar panel. They might not do it every day, but we don't need it to every day. Our solar panels are there to provide enough energy for our daily needs when the weather's good, but they don't always work. Sometimes it's cloudy out, stormy. Sometimes we're parked in canyons or under tree cover, where the solar panels are being partially or completely shaded and not generating much power. Wind turbines are there to bridge the gap, so we don't have to worry about our batteries dying when it's stormy out. And while we could supplement power with a DC to DC charger, shore power, or a generator, all of these end up using fossil fuels. Wind turbines are great because they generate clean, free energy from the wind. While some people might not care about using fossil fuels right now, you just have to think about what's going on right now and what it portrays about the future. Gas prices are going up. What happens if they keep going up? What happens if they become unaffordable? Then what? Then when we don't have shore power, when we don't have generators, when we don't have anything to produce extra power, then solar power isn't going to be enough for us. So wind power bridges that gap, and we can prepare ourselves for this now. So while it's great that I've been able to produce 150 watts of power from my wind turbine, it really got me wondering, why aren't I able to generate more in these slower wind speeds? Even 20 mile an hour winds, I would figure I should be getting 250 to 350 watts of power based on the manufacturer power curves. So let's take a look at those real quick and see what they really show versus what I'm getting. So let's take a look at the Automax website real quick, because they actually have power curves posted on their wind turbines. I have the 400 watt wind turbine here, and if we scroll down, we can see there's a power curve here. So at about 6.5 miles an hour, that's the cut-in speed for this wind turbine. That's where it actually starts to generate power. They're saying that we can generate 50 watts of power. If we go up to 30 miles an hour, that's about where they're saying we can generate the maximum amount of power, or 400 watts. We can also take a look at the other wind turbines that they have. Let's look at the 600 watt wind turbine. So this wind turbine is interesting because it can operate at either 12 or 24 volts, depending on your battery voltage. So at 24 volts, we actually produce more power overall versus the 12 volt curve. And you can see that at 12 volts, we would only produce 450 watts, and at 24 volts, we would produce 600 watts. So what's the difference? Why is this happening? All of this has to do with inertia and efficiency. If we have more mass from a 600 watt wind turbine, we're going to have to put more wind force into that to actually get it to spin at the same speed. On the other hand, if we're operating at 24 volts or 12 volts, there's an efficiency difference there. 24 volts is going to be more efficient because it's higher voltage, less current. And the less current we use, the less power is wasted. So I actually went ahead and plotted these three graphs against each other so we could compare the 400 watt and 600 watt wind turbines. And we can see that the 400 watt wind turbine actually has better performance up until about 18-19 mile an hour wind speeds. Why is that? Well, simply put, it's because the 400 watt wind turbine is smaller. If it's smaller, there's less mass, less force that the wind has to push on it to overcome that inertia. The 600 watt wind turbine, on the other hand, at 12 volts, it doesn't outcompete it until 27 miles an hour. At 24 volts, it outcompetes it at about 18-19 miles an hour. So you can see that for our uses, a 400 watt wind turbine is actually better. Now hold on a second. Why is the manufacturer saying that we could produce so much more power than what we're actually seeing in the field? Part of the answer has to do with physics, including Lenz's law, generator excitation, and V-curves. But these are engineering topics to be covered another day. To give a hint though, it's because we're using a permanent magnet generator. It's like riding a bike without gears up a steep hill. You can do it, but it'll take a lot more effort and won't be very efficient. The other part of the answer is a lot simpler. Marketing. Would you rather buy 50 watts or 400 watts of power? The manufacturers know how to play into consumerism, and this is part of their trick. Now, they aren't actually lying though. The power curves they give are actually possible from this wind turbine. The trick is, they have to use a load bank and perfectly uniform wind in order to achieve this. And of course, this does not in any way reflect real-world conditions. To confirm this, there is actually another higher-end manufacturer in the UK that builds these turbines. Their numbers align more closely with the data I've collected, supporting this claim of Automax's shenanigans. All in all, while wind turbines are not perfect, they certainly are not toys either. They do serve a great purpose in supplementing solar power for these off-grid systems, even on RVs and campers. Well, that about sums up everything for this video. While there's a whole lot more that I'd like to talk about, we'll have to save that for another time. If you liked this video and want to see more content on my wind turbine or similar electrical systems, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe as that really helps this channel to grow. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.